D. So if you remove a resistor in parallel, the thing that is going to happen, the total resistance will increase. It sounds weird, but what is going to happen? Okay, Angiti, we are removing a resistance in parallel. We are removing a resistance in parallel. We're actually taking away R3. Our total resistance, the overall resistance, will increase. You can also prove it if you calculate the total resistance here. Having provided R3 as a resistance, you will see that the value is smaller than when you calculate the resistance as R1 plus R2. You'll find that the value is bigger. So when we remove a resistance in parallel, the total resistance increases. Then when I just go and write your Ohm's law says R is equal to V over I. Then you know that when resistance increases, the current is going to decrease. All right. So which means here your current will, and don't forget its total current will decrease just like that. Then what will happen? You know that if I divide by 1 day, my resistance and voltage, they are all above, or they are all numerators. So which means they are directly proportional to each other, meaning your voltage will increase right there. So that is why. And another logical way, maybe if you need clarity, remember, if the value of resistance increases, if R increases, it means that we now have more power or more resisting energy, because a resistor is a device that is blocking. It names itself resistance. It resists. It attempts to stop the movement of the current. So which means now the movement or the rate of flow of charge have to decrease, because now we have more energy to block its movement right there. But okay, some of you have been introduced to the EMF. I also want to link with the EMF before we do the question papers. The EMF, this thing, EMF, this is actually the maximum energy provided by the battery per unit charge, right? And most of my students, I told you that you go and buy a battery. I love making an example using a battery. And what happens in that battery? It will be wrote 9V on that battery. But what will happen? When you use that battery, it will never ever provide that 9 volts or that entire 9 volts in your system. It will only provide maybe 8.9 volts, which means there is 0.1 V, which we don't know where it is at the end of the day. So that is where we talk about the internal resistance and the internal voltage. Okay, let me break this down. EMF, you know, is the maximum energy provided by the battery per unit charge. So your EMF is actually going to be 9V in this case, in my battery. Okay, then we have this guy, which we call him the internal resistance. The internal resistance is that one thing which is going to steal your voltage in your battery. This is the guy, we call him a thief. R int is the one that steal or absorb or take away a likely amount of your voltage. And that voltage, we call it the V internal or the internal voltage. voltage internal or internal voltage. This is the voltage that has been stolen by that Likli guy, which is my my internal resistance there. So then we have this formula, because remember, if my battery can provide only 8.9 and then 0.1, I don't know where that 0.1 is. It means that I can say my EMF is actually because my EMF is 9, right? And then that 9 is formed by 8.9 and then 0.1. It means that I can say EMF is made by V external. The one that is provided, we call it the external voltage. But the one that is stolen, we call it the V internal. That is the one that is stolen. So again, when I break down the formula, V external is simply obeying Ohm's law. You know that in Ohm's law, if we say R is equal to V over I, that's what this is what you have. And then when you cross multiply by I, both sides, I, and then also multiply by I. At the end of the day, I'm going to have V is equal to I R. This is what I have. So I'm going to write I R in the place of V external. Then plus my V internal. For V internal, V int, we actually use capital letter I and the small letter R. A small letter R. So I'm going to say capital letter I and then a small letter I, R there. So if I take a common factor, my formula will be R plus small letter R. But I want to emphasize on one thing. In every circuit that we are going to come across, your internal resistance will always receive the total current, right? Okay, let's say, let me just modify this diagram now. And this is very important. Let me modify my diagram right there. Let's say I have small letter R. You know how the diagram looks like. I'm just trying to act fancy with my drawings here. There. So if you look at my circuit, I need my current to move outside of the circuit like that and like that. It then break down here on the junction. It comes across a break up, comes across a break up, then it moves like that, like that, like that, like that. At the end of the day, they fix things, they come back together, and then the current moves like that, like that, like that, and then like that. So now, both or the entire current is going to move through, you see, without splitting. That is why we say the internal resistance, it will receive the total current. Because at some point, you will be required to calculate maybe the total current without having the total resistance, but having internal voltage and internal resistance somewhere. So just to know that always NB total I is received by R, by small letter R, internal resistance, right there. You see now. But okay, now my issue is, what is the relationship between voltage or V internal and the current? Because you will need this when you're explaining your questions there. Let me see if I can find space above here. Yes. My formula is given as V int is equal to IR, right? Then always your V internal, when it increases, your current will also increase. You get my point? So if ever you have a statement which says current increases, voltage also increases, but the question is how, say, okay, it's fine. You know that R, or small letter r, this is a constant. This is a constant value. It is an unchanging value that is provided on the equation. The only things that we can manipulate, it is the voltage and the current in this equation. Because it is an equation, if here we are starting with 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 maybe 10, on the left side, it means that my current has to be something like 5, my internal resistance has to be something like 2, so that when I say 5 multiplied by 2, I get a 10. But what if the current increases? When the current increases, maybe now let's say the current is 10 multiplied by 2. This gives me a 20. You see, it gives me a 20. 10 multiplied by 2. It means that also V internal has to increase so that I balance my equation. Then I have a 20 there. So that is why I'm saying V internal is directly proportional to the current. Simple as that. Then what do you do? Okay, come back here. You know that total,
Sir,
yes,
what is the difference between V internal and V lost?
there is actually no difference. It depends on how the teachers use the words. Some of the teachers, they will use V lost, V load. There is no difference. V load, I think that's the external one. V lost, it is the internal voltage. It's one and the same thing, just a different language that we use. So if you prefer V load and V lost, you can stick on that method. As long as my method doesn't get you confused here, you are fine.
Yes.
Okay, there's no difference at all. Then, in conclusion, we said if total current is directly proportional to V internal. Okay, now let's write the entire summary of our statements. Let's write that 4 marks that you're going to need in the exam. But my 4 marks comes in, I'm using just a resistance. Let me just say I'm going to write one type of question, then when I will just multiply everything when you get to the exam or a test there, because it doesn't change. They just change how they ask it, but the answers are always the same. So let's say we are going again with our statement. Maybe yeah, let's just say removed we removed voltage, not voltage, resistance, sorry, resistance in parallel. Can you please mute parallel? So when we remove a resistance in parallel, first of all, we said that the total resistance is going to what? To increase. I even gave you a practical example that you can do. So according to Ohm's law, when the total resistance increases, the total current or I will decrease. All right. Then what did we say about the relationship between resistance and the voltage? We said they are directly proportional to each other, which means my total voltage. And this time around, don't say V. Can you please mute if there is no question? We'll appreciate that. This person. Okay, thank you for muting. She muted. She just muted. Total external V external is going to what? To increase, because we said resistance and the external voltage, or with the voltage according to Ohm's law, R is equal to V over I. We said these two, they're directly proportional to each other. But now we also said that current is directly proportional to V internal. So which means, okay, let me remove this thing. Just say V external. We can't say V total V external, but okay. Just say V external will increase on your statements. Then your V internal, V int, is going to what? To decrease. Why? Reason being that total current and internal voltage, they are directly proportional to each other. When the other one increases, the other one decreases, and so on and so on. But there is a trend, guys. Because you're going to write now, very soon, just cram this thing. Whatever that R is going to do, whatever V external is going to do that thing, these two, they are friends. And then whatever that I is going to do, it's whatever V internal is going to do. These two, they're also friends. So they go together like that. And then when you get your free 4 marks without any fear of contradiction, as said by my high school tutor, he used to love that statement. So far, are we fine? Is there anyone with a question? Are we fine? If you are fine, you just
What is the
do the thumb.
between,
Okay.
what is the difference between the V total and the V external?
Okay. Let me explain that. V total and V external. Okay. Let's say you have a circuit diagram like this. Let me remove this on. Now there's no need for me to write the batteries. I'm just going to draw that R1, and then I'm going to draw that R2. And then yeah, no. Uh, uh, okay, no, it's fine. So when Kelina, if you ever unmute yourself, I'm going to remove you because I think you are just here to disturb us. And some of us are on serious business. We're not here to play. Don't make me show the other side of me. Never ever test me, because you'll regret. Oh, I think you're even too old to do what you're doing. Okay, so sorry guys for that. I'm not that kind of person. I just don't want to be irritated to that point. So what we're doing here, we okay. So what we're doing here, I wanted to explain the difference between total voltage and V external, right? Okay, so if ever you have a switch that is open, the entire diagram is gone, it's fine. Mm. And you have a battery there. Let's just say you have a voltage there, or simply, yes, let me say this V, that's your voltage there. Yeah, it's fine. Then what will happen is, or let me use the EMF, not to confuse you, to make the things simple. That's your V1, maybe, for example. So what will be happening is that now, let's say we also have the internal resistance, for instance, right? But our switch is open. When our switch is open, there is no movement, no current reading, no any current there. So which means that our V1 is reading the total voltage, which is basically what? The EMF, right? Then whenever we start to open, whenever we start to close our switch, and then internal resistance come to action, then we will be having V internal, right? That's where we now talk about the V external, because the V external, it is the voltage that is going to be provided in R1 and the voltage that is going to be provided in R2 there. So the difference between the total voltage, we talk about it when we don't have the internal resistance. Whenever we start talking about the internal resistance, we no longer talk about the V total. We talk about V external when we have the internal resistance. You understand?
So could you please repeat that?
Okay. Whenever, if my switch is open like this, the voltage that is being read here, let's say it is 12, for example, 12 V. That is the reading on the battery, which is the EMF, and that is the total voltage, because EMF is the maximum energy provided by the battery, and then maximum is like basically the biggest. Okay, then when we close our switch, due to the reason that we have the internal resistance now says, oh, now I'm taking some voltage, and that voltage is V internal, maybe of 0.9 V, which means here I'll be left with what? Now I'll be left with 11.01 V. Now, that 11.01 V, it is the one that is going to be distributed across my circuit in R2 and R1. That is why we can no longer talk about the total voltage. We talk about the external, because it is being provided to the external circuit. So the only difference, we have the difference when we have the internal resistance. When we don't have the internal resistance, there is no difference at all. External and total voltage is the same.
Sir,
Yes.
So EMF and V total
can she quickly just re-ask her question? I think you confused her even worse.
No, I think she have to talk for herself. Where is she? Who was she? Can she confirm with me? Is she fine or is she lost? Yes, I see her hand.
Sir,
Yes.
can I ask?
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is that V total, it is the voltage that is distributed external and also the V lost or the V internal.
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
which is basically or the EMF, for instance.
Okay, thank you.
So do you know where is your friend? I think your friend, maybe she disappeared. She's lost. She's no longer being found.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but let's move if she's quiet. Okay. So the rest of the things some of the things we'll talk about them when we're busy doing the questions. Right there. Oh yeah, no. Let me try to zoom out. Yeah. Here's our question. It was saying in the diagram below, the in the no. Can someone read the question? Dino, read us the question.
In the circuit diagram below, the battery has an EMF of 6 volts and negligible internal resistance. 7.1, calculate the following. 7.1.1, effective resistance in the circuit.
It's fine. So what we see in this question, it's a life simple because we don't have what the internal resistance. We don't have to worry about the internal resistance. Although we have the EMF. EMF basically means the total voltage right there. That's what they just mean. So the first question, we're looking for the effective resistance in the circuit. And in order to count the effective resistance, they actually want what? They actually want the total resistance, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they want the total resistance. So the simplest way I tell people, first simplify your diagram. Step number one, simplify your diagram first before anything. So what you are going to do, you simplify your diagram in terms of the resistance, right? Here you will write 3 and then here you write 6. The reason why I'm doing that, if you look at this resistance and this resistance, they are in series. So I can just add them to avoid adding at the end. You see, this one is still also fine. So what you do now, you know that when you have two resistance that are in parallel, you can use this formula which is, let me move down a bit. You can use this formula which is Rp is equal to R1 multiplied by R2, then divided by R1 plus R2. This formula only works when we have two resistance that are in parallel. So in this case, it's 6 and 3. So I'm going to say 6 multiplied by 3 is divided by 6 plus 3 right there. And then what answer do you get? This is simply 6 times 3, I think it's 18, divided by 9, of which I think it's 2. What's the answer?
Yeah, it's true, sir.
2.
It's 2, sir.
2. Okay. Okay. Then, here we have 2 ohms. Then, now they want the reading on ammeter A1. Okay. First of all, what you need to note, or what you need to know, you need to know that A1 is reading total current. Ammeter A1 is reading the total current. Because when the current moves out like this on my battery, it's going to divide here. The other current moves on that branch. The other one moves on this branch right there, like that. And then they combine again. They move as a single, although they will be double. You know what I'm talking about. But I'm talking scientifically. Okay, so they're asking you for A2, for A1, which is the total current. They're asking you for the total current. It's simple because remember the effective resistance that you calculated, it was basically your RT, your total current, right? Then you also have the EMF. You also have the EMF, which is 6. Because you don't have the internal resistance, your EMF is just that value, which is 6. So at the end of the day, you're going to use Ohm's law for 7.1.2. You're going to say R is equal to V over I right there. And then your resistance, it's 2. What about your voltage? It's 6. And then you are looking for the current, IT, I total. And then you cross multiply there and then divide 6 by 2. This one is just maths. You were learning maths for the past few weeks. So I hope by now you understand these things. Divide and multiply and tell me the answer.
3.
3. A. That one is fine. Then now, the following question says, the reading on ammeter A2. The reading on ammeter A2. This one was 3A, right? Okay. So what you will see is that A2 is on the branch. It's on the branch right there. So what I will assure you is that the value of A2 that we're going to get, it is going to be a small value. And then here on this other branch, there will be a bigger value because 4 plus 2 it gives me 6 ohms. 6 ohms in total. And then this one is 3 ohms. According to Ohm's law, the bigger the resistance, the smaller the current. That is why I'm saying A2 will have a smaller value right there. But let's prove it in terms of calculations. Okay. The thing that you can just go and do. And I told you that as long as we're in a parallel circuit, your your voltage will never ever change in parallel. And yes, in parallel, the voltage is the same. That's what I said. So because we don't have, let me emphasize this part. Because we don't have a resistance or a resistance that is in series, or let me simply say, because this is a parallel circuit, the EMF is equal to the voltage of the parallel combination. And that applies only when we don't have a resistor maybe connected like this and an internal resistance like that. So when you go to exam and you find a resistance maybe connected somewhere there, never ever say this 6V apply here and there. There will be changes. There will be changes. So let me remove this. So what you can do, in order to find, I'm going to show you 2 ways. But let's do the normal way first. What you can just simply do, you can say, you can use Ohm's law, I is equal to V over I. R is equal to V over I. There. Then what was the resistance for that branch? It was 6. That was the resistance. My resistance was 6. Sorry. What was my voltage? My voltage was also what? 6. I was looking for the current. And then it's simply going to be 6I is equal to 6, of which it's going to be I is equal to 1 ampere. But at some instance, there's a point whereby this method will not apply. Do you know why? When we talk about the internal resistance, you won't know this value. You won't know this V. You won't know that V because it will be affected by the internal resistance, because there will be V load and V lost, or V external and V internal. So what you rather do, use the ratios. Teachers often confuse or make the ratios hard, I know. But the simplest way, or the simplest way I'm going to give you, you come and see the current at that 6 ohm. You are looking for the current. You are looking for what? The current at 6 ohms. Ne? You write current at 6 ohm. Then you write a line like that. Then here you will say, this is the current of the branch I don't want. This is me mixing science and English. Then this one will be addition of resistance. Basically, it's not. Sorry about that. I just realized I made a mistake. It's supposed to be resistance. Yes, because we are using multiply by IT, your total current. So the formula simply states that when you're doing the ratios, just know that if you are looking for the current in this branch, in the upper branch, you are going to say in your ratio, resistance of the branch that I don't want, which is the lower branch. You write 3. And then we further said addition of the resistance, And in this case, when you add them, you need to get the total. So in simple, I'm saying you are going to say 4 plus 2, and that gives you 6, right? That gives you the 6 there. You add this 6 and this 3, it gives you a 9. So you come here and say 9. Then you multiply by simply the total. We said we multiply by what? By IT. Right there, your total. So we is simply going to be multiplied by 3, because 3 was my total. So in simple, we said 3 divided by 9 multiplied by 3. What answer will you get here?
One.
We get 1 ampere. So you see, you can do it in any of the ways that I did here. But do you guys understand the ratios that I did? You all understand? I need thumbs up if you understand. Okay. 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 Right. Yes, I see a hand. Selena, go ahead. You can just unmute and ask. Okay, Olga. I see.
I didn't understand.
Okay, you didn't understand. I'll repeat. Then Olga. Okay, maybe that was a mistake. It's fine. So, right, let me just draw a silly diagram. Maybe you'll understand. Or let me use the same diagram, but let me change it this time. Here I'll write 3 ohms. Here I'm simply going to use 6 ohms again. I don't want to make something that will mix up. 6 ohms. And then we said that our total current, our IT total current, it was 3A, right? So for the ratios, sorry, your ratios, if you are looking for the current, okay, now I'm looking for the current at 3 ohm resistance, right? I'm going to say I 3 ohm resistance because this is the current of the 3 ohm resistance that I'm looking for is equal to current resistance. I'm going to use resistance. I'm relating the current and resistance now. I'm going to say resistance of branch I don't want divided by addition of resistance. In this case, the reason why I'm emphasizing on saying addition, it is because you don't necessarily find R parallel because some of you are going to use this formula. RP is equal to R1 multiplied by R2. No, we don't apply that formula. You just add them. You just say 6 plus 3 in this case, just like that. So then you multiply by IT, which is the total current. Then you're going to say, I'm looking for the current on the 3 ohm resistance. So which one is the branch that I don't want? The 6 ohm. So I'm going to say 6 divided by what? The addition of the resistance, which is 6 plus 3, and it gives me 9. And then I'm going to divide by 9 and multiply by what? By IT, which is my total current. And then multiply by 3. What answer will you get here? I think it's going to be 2. Yeah, it has to
Yes.
be 2 because, yeah, it's 2. So which means if you don't want to go along with this way, you can still be allowed to use Ohm's law. You can say R is equal to V over I, right? You are looking for the current on the 3 ohm resistance. You will say 3 is equal to your voltage is 6 divided by I. And then when you cross multiply there, it's going to be 3I is equal to 6. And then I is eventually 6 divided by 3, which is 2 ohms. 2 ohms. We get to the same answer. Are we fine now? Are
Sir,
you fine? Yes.
sir, why did you add
Uh-huh.
when it's parallel?
This is the formula. We're not applying that method. To be honest, if I tell you why are we adding, I might mislead you. So this is how I was introduced to the formula. The formula says we add the parallel, we add the branches, we add the branches. We don't necessarily find the R parallel like that.
So how do you identify that this one is the resistor that is unwanted?
Oh, we are looking for the current. We are looking for the current on 3 ohm resistor. It is this resistor. We're looking for the current on that resistor, which means we are not looking for the current on that resistance. That one we're not looking for its current. That's why I say resistance of the branch that is not wanted, because we're looking for the current on which branch? On the 3 ohm branch. You understand?
Yes, I do. So, are we allowed to
Okay.
use that formula if we have a cell?
No, you don't apply it on the series. You apply it on the parallel branch, especially when you have voltage, internal resistance, because it's going to be difficult for you. You will find the question having only 3 marks like this. And then when are you, if you don't use the ratios, you will be forced to first calculate the V internal, V external, what, and all the methods. So you might even make mistakes. So you're allowed to use the formula in the exam and the test. But the thing that I can advise you, don't go and write this thing. This is just the way that you can understand the formula. Don't write it like this. Just go maybe and write the answers like that. Just go and write the substitutions. Yes.
But we're not going to get the whole 3 marks.
Oh, if you want to, the way I used to do it, I used to drive my formula in such a way. I will say 3 ohm is equal to the branch that I don't want. It is maybe they will label this as R1 and they will label this as R2, right? So the way I used to do it, I was going to say R1 divided by. Okay. So if you are maybe you are talking something on the background, at least talk something maybe if you are talking to your person, that's why you can unmute and then we hear the conversation. Now I love too much to gossip. So that one I can permit you to unmute and then we just hear you having the chit chat. Okay, fine. So the way I used to do it, I used to say R1 because R1 is for the branch that I don't want. Then I will say R1 plus R2 multiplied by IT. This was just my formula. This is the formula that I was going to say. This is my formula, and then I make the substitutions. Then I'm done. So now you can do it like that. You get the full marks. You get the full marks right there.
Sir,
Yes.
I also have a question regarding 7.1.3, where we were calculating the reading on ammeter A2. We used 6 ohms. Why didn't we use 4 ohms? Because the A2 comes before the 2 ohms.
Okay. Yeah. Mm, I get your question. It's a nice question. So what is actually happening here? Let me maybe if I can find another diagram that is almost similar to this one. Nope. 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 Doesn't have what I want to say. Okay. So the way we do it, or the way we are going to work with these things, because A2, you will see, because A2 is the current on this branch, right? But remember, the first thing that I said, we said on a series circuit, current is the same. Resistance share the same current. You get my point? So if I use only the 4 ohm resistor, if I use only the 4 ohm resistor, I'm going to get something that is different, which means now the current is no longer being shared also with the 2 ohm resistance. So in order for them to share the same current, I add them. I have to add them. I have to use 6. I can't use 4. Because if I use 4, it's like I'm excluding the 2 ohm resistor. And having said that, we said in a series, This branch is a series. In a series branch, current is the same. 4 ohm and 6 ohm have to have the same current. That is why we add them. They have to share. Do I make sense, or am I confusing you even far worse?
I understand, sir.
Okay. Yes, so always add them. Oh, okay. Now we're going to power. To be honest, with power, there's a lot of formula. I think there are almost more than 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. I also don't know them. But what I know, I have P is equal to which formula is that one? Can someone give me one form? The one that does not have squared, that does not have any squared.
Sir.
The power formula which doesn't have squared, because I know V squared over I think it's R, and also P is equal to I squared R. Is it?
Sir,
I think I know this. Yes.
the one without the square is P is equals to VI.
Yes, I want that one. P is equal to IV or VI. It's one and the same thing. Then now, here, if you know this formula, you know almost 3 formulas, because what you are going to do now, you only take your I there, you take your current. So you're going to say V, you have this formula, this is your original formula, then you have V over I. Now you make I the subject of the formula, so which means you have V is equal to I R there. Then you divide both sides by R. Your I is going to be V over R. So having this equation or this formula, you go and substitute it there at the place of I, right? So you're going to have P is equal to V over R multiplied by V. So according to the laws of multiplication, V and V, they're going to make V squared. I don't know how to explain it mathematically, because I don't even understand what's going on in maths. V squared over R squared. There is a second formula. So for the one that says P is equal to I squared R, you just go and make I subject of the formula again, and or you make, I forgot which one you make the subject, or you make V the subject of the formula. When you substitute it here, you're going to have P is equal to I multiplied by I R, and then this one is going to be I squared. So I can't teach you guys formulas. You'll find them on the formula sheet.
Oh, sir,
Yes.
I would like to ask, don't we use that formula which is V is equals to IR?
V is equal to IR.
IR.
Yes, yes. You mean to find I squared R, right?
Yes.
Yes. We're going to use this one. We're just going to substitute. Basically, we're going to say, because it's IV, right? So in the place of V, we substitute that thing. So it's going to produce P is
Oh.
equal to I multiplied by IR. Then we
Okay. Let me
multiply
multiply.
them.
Okay, no, I get it. I get it.
Yes. So in terms of I wanted to skip 7.1.4, the one asking for power, but let me just do it. Just in case. Let me just do it. They said calculate the power dissipated on 4 ohm. Now they want 4 ohm resistor. They want the power of this resistance there. And so now, this is where we will not add the resistance because power is different. A device which has a 4 ohm resistor and a 2 ohm resistance cannot have the same power. It's like connecting maybe let's say having a fridge and a TV. They can't have the same power. The way they consume electricity is going to be different. So and then the power has to be different also. So that is why they are strictly saying calculate the power on the 4 ohm resistor. So the simple way to get these 3 marks, you can just say P is equal to IV, right? What is the current? Our current, we found out that it was 1. And then the voltage, it was 6. It was that one. So for these 3 marks, you need to write the formula P is equal to IV, and then your current, it's 1. Then your voltage, it's 6, of which your power is 6. What? Okay. Now, for power in calculations here, when they ask for power, what? Your unit is watts. You use watts, right? But when you go to cost, you are not going to use watts. I will tell you why. I'll also tell you why. No, but okay, it's fine. What is the reading on V? No calculation is required. Guys, Dino, I hope Dino is around. What is the reading on V without you calculating?
Did we get the voltage of A3? Of
No,
A2, emitter 2? Because
no.
voltage in parallel, they're the same, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Is
if we
it
have the one above, then we know the one below. I just don't know the one above.
Okay. I get you. Yes, and Amahle will assist
Sir.
you. Don't worry. Okay?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I'm going to ask a question on that question that asks for power.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. You can ask.
We substituted the voltage as 6 and the
Yes.
current as 1, sir.
Yes.
So my question is that are we not going to use a different voltage from 6 because 4 ohm and 2 ohm are in series?
Okay.
Okay, sir, the resistors that are in series, they are going to give off different voltages. The one from 4 will be different from one from 2, but all together they will have 6.
Oh yeah. No, I get your statement. So basically, when we add them together, when we combine them to make 6, that's where our voltage will be 6. But in this case, you are saying voltage is different, right?
Yes, sir.
So which means in simple terms, yeah, yes, I think you are right. Definitely, yes, you are right. So what we can do, I think we can just use the other formula which does not require us to have the voltage. We can use this formula. Let's use this formula and see what we'll get.
It's 4, sir.
It's 4. Yes, yeah, definitely you are right there. So it's 1 squared multiplied by 4, and then this gives us 4 watts. Okay, that's our power. Yeah, I also agree with this. So yeah, thank you for that. I also made a mistake over there. I also made a mistake. All right. Yes. Yeah, you are right. So I was still asking for, yeah, no, Blazing will tell us the thing. Blazing will tell us 7.2. What is the reading on V? Without any calculation. You don't calculate anything. You just look and respond.
Isn't it 6?
I don't know. When you are telling me,
I think it's 6.
yeah, it's 6, obvious, because we don't have the internal resistance, and we don't have any resistance that is connected in series. There is no resistance connected in series, which means that the voltage that is produced by the battery, it is shared across the resistance that are in parallel. And one thing that we know about resistance in parallel is that they have the same voltage. So if the 6 ohm resistor is getting 6V, then it means that also the 3 ohm resistor is getting 6V. So basically our answer is 6V right there.
What if we have
So
what if we have some resistance connected in series?
like this one, maybe it was R1, something like this.
Yeah.
Then it means that you were going to use that value. Let's say maybe it was 4 ohms, for instance. If maybe it was 4 ohms, you are going to use this value and the total resistance that you have to find what? To find the voltage of that thing. Then you will subtract the value that you get here from the total, and then you will get the voltage of this branch. Okay, let me reduce the number so that I can show you practical. Let's say our resistance that is connected here, it's R, which is eventually 1 ohm. Yeah, let's just say 1 ohm. So what you are going to do, you are going to find the resistance, because we had the total current, our IT, it was 3A, right? So which means to find the voltage, you're going to say V is equal to IR, right? And then what is your current? Your current is 3, because this one receives the total current. Don't forget that. Then multiply by what? What is the resistance? 1. So which means you have 3V. That is the voltage of this branch, or of that resistance there. Voltage of that resistance. So to find the voltage of the parallel branch, V parallel, you are going to say EMF minus the V of R1 of R1 ohms. So which means it's going to be 6 minus 3, and this gives you a 3V, which means this 3V, it is the voltage of the parallel branch. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So now, um, okay, I think I'm fine now. I think it was my network. Am I fine? Am I audible? Okay, sharp. If you have a question, unmute and ask. Then,
Sir,
yes,
I wanted to ask if we are given they say we must calculate the EMF of the battery
yes,
in a parallel in a parallel connection.
EMF in a
Can you hear
parallel
me?
connection. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Given in a parallel connection, given the internal resistance and the I total, and not given the I like parallel, that one in the parallel, do we need to calculate it first?
When you're looking for the EMF,
Yes.
so you're basically looking for EMF, but do you have the total current?
Yes.
What about internal resistance?
Yes. Given it.
What about the capital letter R, the total resistance?
Yes.
So which means when you're just simply going to use the formula EMF is equal to I into R plus R. You can substitute this one over there, that one over there, and then that one over there. You see, so there's no need to go along with that method.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes. All right, no problem. Then here, when we are calculating the cost, what I know is that cost, here we're talking about man, cost is equal to PTR. Now, this is the formula. But again, PT is actually equal to E, the energy, which means that we can simplify cost as E multiplied by R. But my advice, stick on this method of PTR. Cost is equal to PTR. That's the first thing that you need to know. Now let's break everything down. If you're talking about the power, here, when you talk about the power is in kilowatts. Kilowatts, yes, kilowatts. So to move from watts to kilowatts, you divide by 1000. And then what about T? Time is in hours. It's time in hours. So sometimes you'll be given maybe 30 minutes, something like this, 30 minutes, and then they will require you to convert it into hours. I think you divide by 60. So I'll just say I'm not sure, yeah, but I'm confident. From minutes to hours, divide by 60. Then we have R, which is the rand in rands. So this other day, there was a question which came in cent. It was like saying 0.91 cent. To save you and your future children and your future family, to move from, hey, I'm saving a lot of people at once, from cent to rand, you divide by 100. Yes, you divide by 100. That's what you need to know. Those are the conversions that you need to know. But for this question, I think it was simple and straightforward. My advice, you are given, they said a kettle is rated 1500 watts, which is P, that is 1500 watts. And calculate how much a learner will pay for electricity using a kettle for 4 hours. T is equal to 4 hours. And then Eskom charges 1 kilowatts electricity at 2 rand 05 cent. Okay, it's fine. Then for this one, you're not going to convert because it's 2 rand. It's 2 rand. You only convert maybe if you have 0.1 cent. That's why you convert it into rands. So your R is equal to 2.05 right there. Now we're making the conversions. Angiti, the first thing that we're going to look for is the energy. Energy, or let me just go straight to the formula to avoid confusing you. The formula says cost is equal to PTR. What is your power? Your power is given in watts, and we said we convert it into kilowatts. So I'm going to say 1,500. How do we convert it into watts? We divide by 1,000, not 100. 1,000. So that's divided by 1,000. And then what about your time? It's 4 hours. And then what about your money? 2.05 rands. So if you don't prefer this, you can convert on the side. You can just say power 1,500 divided by 1,000, of which this 0 and this 0 will cancel. So we'll be left with 15 divided by 10. This is basically 15 divided by 10. What do you get as your answer here?
12.3.
So you're going to say R 12.30. Also, cost is also in rands. So which means the learner will be paying 12.3 rand cent, 0.12 whatever. You know how to read the manual. I don't know. So those who were saying power what, are you fine? Are you covered? Do you have any question? Okay, I think they're covered. That's all you have to do in cost. Do I have another question for
Excuse
cost?
me,
Yes.
does it matter? Does the charges that ESCOM do matter?
Well, which one? This one. One.
Does it really matter, Minya?
No, you don't actually worry about that. I think they're just, let's just assume that they're showing you that your power must be in kilowatts, because it's one. One will never have effect on anything.
Oh, I see, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Oh yeah. Good. Another good question. The question that you asked is good. At some point, they will matter. Now I'm realizing it now. So imagine if ESCOM was charging 2 kilowatts per hour and electricity was costing that thing. Now it means ESCOM is charging what? 2 kilowatts per hour. It means that our final answer, this answer, we need to multiply it by 2, because the charge, or the charge of the cost, the charges, actually the cost is now 2 kilowatts per hour. They're charging 2 kilowatts in each hour. In each hour, they charge 2 kilowatts. So another way, or a simple way, you can multiply the power by 2. This one is also fine. I think, yes, I think this one is a better explanation. They're charging 2 kilowatts in each 1 hour. So if it's 1 kilowatts per hour, they're charging 1 kilowatts in each 1 hour. Right there. Because I think I saw a question that is a different scenario to this one. Yeah. But I will show you the question. I have it. I'll send it on my channel so that everyone can access it. And then you will tell me the complaint that you have. The question that we have here is, let me check the better one. Yeah, let's do this one, it's fine. Now, the question says, Elena wants to use a 12V battery with an internal resistance of 1 ohm to operate an electrical device. He uses the circuit below to obtain the desired potential difference for the function for the you see why I don't want to read questions. The resistance of the device is 5 ohms, okay? But everything that I was reading is written, okay? When switch S is closed, as shown below, the device function at its maximum power of 5 watts. Okay. Now I just remembered something that I forgot to explain before. But this question doesn't have what I want to explain. Guys, there is what we call voltage changes. I'll be quick here. So voltage changes. If we say a voltage decreases or increases, decreases by voltage decreases. What does these two words mean? Because they're very important. They play a very good role. According to what I saw on a trial question paper for Limpopo, you can visit the paper. So when they say voltage decreases by, they means that if maybe the voltage decreases by 2V, that 2V is your V internal. Why? Because your voltage was actually maybe 12, and then it decreased by 2. It decreased by 2. Where is that 2? That 2 is taken to the internal resistance. That is why it decreased by that value. So which means if they say voltage decreases by 2V, then that's your internal voltage. But if they say voltage decreases 2, they're basically saying you're having an EMF. Your EMF was 12, maybe, and then we subtract 2, we'll be left with 10V. It means that now your 10V is now your external voltage. Decreases 2, it provides, this one will provide V external. This is the language they like to use nowadays. The language that almost ruined my career because I got 2 marks on that question, if I remember correctly. It was a June question paper, June 2025 for Limpopo. You can visit the paper, grade 12. Right there. So, but let's proceed with what we're doing now. They said when switch S is closed, here, as shown in the diagram, the device function to its maximum power. The power is at maximum. Okay, it's fine. Now they say explain in words the meaning of an EMF of 12V. You can just say maximum 12 voltage of V12, 12V is provided by the battery per unit charge. whatever way you put it, as long as you have the definition of EMF and the 12V in your statement, you are sorted. You'll be fine. Then the second question, they say calculate the current that passes through the electrical device. Current that passes through the electrical device. Which one is the electrical device? This one. It is even written. How can you find the current? Let's see what we have. We have the resistance, it is 5. We also have what? The power, which is also 5 watts. And then here it's ohms. Then we are looking for the current. So which means you can simply use the formula which says P is equal to I squared multiplied by R, right? What is your power? Your power is 5. What is your current? I don't know. You don't know. You are looking for it. What is your resistance? It's 5. Then you divide both sides by 5. Divide both sides by 5. You have I squared, which is equal to 1. And then your I will be equal to 1, not plus or minus 1. It's going to be equal to 1 because a current can never be negative. I is equal to 1. So your current there, it's 1. Then the second question says, calculate the resistance of Rx. And it's 7 marks. Yo. But there's no a lot of work that you can do here, or what you need to do. There's not a lot of work. What you can do, what I can advise you to do. First, simplify your diagram, right? In terms of the resistance only. You can simplify your diagram in this way. This one, there are unlike terms, can't add them. But the one below, we can, because these two, they are receiving the same current. We can add them and simplify them to 12. It's 12. They are in series to each other, these two. So I simplified them to 12. Here it's 4, and then here it's going to be Rx is going to be just Rx. Okay. Now my question is, what is the next step? You know, the question that you calculated above is going to assist us to calculate the question below. Why? Because above they wanted us to calculate the current. If you remember, they said calculate the current of this device. And what is the current that the device is reading? This device is receiving the total current because current will come out on my battery. The entire current is going through your device there, the entire current, which means the value of 1A, it was my total current. That's the purpose why they said we should calculate it. Now, what else do you have? You have the internal resistance. What else do you have? You have the EMF. I'm fine. So I'm going to use the formula of EMF is equal to I R plus R. Okay. What is my EMF? My EMF, it was 12. So that's 12 is equal to, what is my total current? 1. What is my resistance? I don't know. What is my internal resistance? It is also 1. All right. Then this is simply going to be 1 multiplied by R multiplied by 1. So it's simply 12 is equal to R plus 1. And then R is equal to 11 ohms. There you are sorted. But when you have simplified your diagram, right? You have simplified your diagram in such a way that you have a resistance and a resistance, which is, I think it was 4. Yes, that one was 4 ohms. and then this one is Rx, and then you have the branch below. Then this one is simply, we said, I think it was 12. Yes, it's 12. This one is 12 ohms. So what you can do now, because this is a series, you can take this as one thing, right? You can put it in brackets and say 4 plus Rx. You treat that as one thing, because you're avoiding to use that formula of saying 1 over Rp is equal to 1 over R1. I hate that formula. Plus 1 over R2 and wara wara and wara wara. You can simply still use the formula Rp is equal to R1 multiplied by R2 divided by R1 plus R2 plus R2 right there. So how do you do it now? The way forward, your R1, you will assume it is this thing, right? So you're going to say, oh, in fact, another mistake that I did. Let me erase here. If you look, I still have that 5 ohm resistance of the device, right? So which means I can't put the 11 because this is IT. Now I'm looking for the parallel branch, resistance of the parallel branch. But I'm not going to simplify it. I'm just going to find the formula of it. So I'm going to say 4 plus Rx there, multiplied by what? Multiplied by 12, which is your R2. Then that's going to be 4 plus Rx plus 12. We are sorted. That's Rp. So how are you going to find the total? To find the total, you say RT is equal to Rp plus Rs. Some of you know about this formula. The total resistance is the addition of your series resistance and the parallel resistance. That is why I have added them like that. Just like this. So what was your total resistance? It was 12. Then what was your Rp? Your Rp is that thing. So you can still just go and say into 4 plus Rx multiplied by 12 divided by into 4 plus Rx plus 12 plus the 5 ohm resistance for the what? For the device, for that device right there. Now you solve the maths. Now you solve the maths. So, okay, I thought that was going to be a question. It's fine. So, the first thing that you can do, you can transpose this 5 to the other side. And then you have 11 minus 5. What is 11 minus 5?
Sir.
What,
Sir,
Yes. 6.
is this R
6.
is this RT or is it supposed to be R external?
You mean this one? You mean the 11 ohms?
Yeah, from the previous formula that you were doing, the one that you found out is 11.
Or the one that we got as 11? It's basically
Yeah.
our our RT, our total resistance, the total external resistance. Yes, total R external, which I'm saying, okay, let me say Rx, but it's one and the same thing. We just say total, because there is a difference. I'm talking about the capital letter R, not the small letter r. So I don't include this one and this one is one and the same thing. That is why I'm saying it's RT, the 11 ohm. Same thing as R external. I hope you are fine there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we found out that our RT or R external, it's 6 equal to, now I'm doing the maths, 4 times 12. What is 4 times 12? Someone do the calculator. 24.
It's
I
48,
think
sir.
48.
it's 48
Yes, sir.
plus 12 Rx. Yes. Then underneath the denominator, this one is 12. It's not written properly. This one was 12. That one was 12. Then I'm going to add 4 and 12 and get what? And get 16. So it's going to be 16 plus Rx. Right. There, from here, how do I solve the maths here? Do I cross multiply everything by the denominator? Because I was never good in maths in high school. I cross multiply.
Yes, so you multiply 6 with 16 plus Rx.
Okay, thank you. Then that's
Two
going
cross
to be 6.
multiplies.
Huh?
Multiply 6 by 16 plus Rx.
Okay, thank you. That's 48 plus 12 x. So I was never good in maths, but yet I still passed physical science with good marks. So that was miracle. So what is 6 multiplied by 16?
96, sir.
96. And then this one is just Rx. It's equal to 48 plus 12 Rx.
Sir,
And then 1. Yes.
sir,
No, sir, it's going to be 6
that's 6
RX.
Rx, sir.
Oh, this one 6 Rx. Okay, thank you. Thank you there. Yeah, you must understand. That is why I don't even have to do anything with maths. So I'm going to take this one to the other side. I take this one to the other side. So what about 96 minus 48?
48, sir.
It's what? 48.
Yes.
48.
Okay, 48.
Yes.
Then when I take this one to the other side, it's going to be 6 Rx. And then you divide both sides by 6. And then what is your Rx?
8.
8.
8.
Simply 8 ohms. That is your answer right there. That is your Rx. So here you can just play around with maths. You can just play around with maths and do the thing. Just play around with maths. Now here the question comes. Switch S is now opened, okay? This switch is open. Will the device still function at its maximum power? Write yes or no. Explain the answer without any calculation. These people, okay. When you don't stress here. You don't stress. What do you do? When the switch is open, it actually means that this entire resistance has been removed. You understand? Then, okay, when we remove, I have given you the answers, Mus. Okay, let's go to the working. Let me just write the summary here. switch S is open. We removed the resistance in parallel. What is going to happen? Total resistance will increase. What else will happen? You are going to have total current decreasing. What else will happen? V
Voltage.
external will increase. This one is, yes, V internal will what? Decrease. But okay, that's not our answer. We haven't responded to yes or no or what. Ne? So when you go and check the formula for power, because will the device still function at its maximum power? Right, yes or no? You write the formula of power. How many formulas do you have? You have this formula, which is V squared over, is it R? Yes. And then also P is equal to I squared R. That's like this. Then what? Which other formula? P is equal to IV.
And V is equals to IR.
This one.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So what happens now? You have to be strategic in such a way that you have to ask yourself, because what? In this equation, voltage is directly proportional to the resistance, right? Okay, it's fine. The resistance is increasing. V external. Sorry. Oh, sorry about that. The V external is also increasing. And then for the second formula, your current is decreasing. Your resistance is what? Is increasing. So there is a contradiction there. I don't know whether it's called contradiction, but they're opposing each other. Right? Then for the last formula, your current is what? Is increasing. No, your current is decreasing. Your voltage, V external, is what? Increasing. V external is increasing, which means in most cases, the power is going to apply in these two formulas. This one is going to fail. We're not going to apply that formula. Why? Because we have two formulas that are explaining the same thing. In this formula, the current is decreasing. In the second formula, current is also decreasing. So two formulas are obeying the same principle, right? So we're going to take this formula and apply and explain in terms of them. Now, we need to ask ourselves, which value is going to decrease more? Okay. Or decrease or increase more. For the current, for I, am I correct? Yes, for the current, it's going to decrease, but the resistance, the total resistance now, total R, it's now going to be 12 ohms. But our total, our total current, we don't know, we don't have to calculate it either way, but it's going to decrease. It's going to be a smaller value. It's going to be a smaller value. It decreases somewhere. Maybe it will decrease to 0.5. Let's just say 0.5 right there. But for the second formula again, our voltage is going to also increase. We're not able to calculate the value, but let me explain in this in that one. So if I'm calculating the new power, maybe I have 12, which is my resistance, multiplied by 0.5, which is my new current, maybe I'm going to get 6, right? I'm going to get 6. But I think the power that we had, it was 5. You see, it was 5. Then which means in your explanation, will the device still function at its maximum power? Obviously, it's not going to function at its maximum power. So here you are going to say no. Because the power has changed. The value of the power is changed. The maximum power is no longer 5, it's now 6. And then when you just you just explain using these things over there. You explain in terms of those things and maybe write a formula. After showing this, after telling them about resistance increasing, decreasing, and what, you can just write saying according to formula P is equal to I squared over R. The marker or the examiner or the whatever, they know they have to relate those formulas in order to see that the power will eventually no longer be the same. I hope I make sense over there. So the only thing that matters is how you explain the explanation. Those are the marks that you need to get. So for this one, I'm going to do this question only. I won't do 8.4. I'll do 8.3 only. I'll just do 8.3. So they're saying in the circuit diagram below, the resistance R with resistance of 5.6 is connected together with a switch, an ammeter, and a high resistance voltage to a battery of unknown internal resistance. We don't know the internal resistance. Then they're saying resistance of the wires can be ignored. It's fine. Then they give us a graph. And then they're saying at T1, switch S is closed. Where is our T1? At T1 here. So what you will see, the graph here, it is representing the potential difference, right? So it means that at first we had 13 and the switch was still open at the beginning because the switch was closed at T1, which is at this point. We had 13V. When the switch is open, it means this is my EMF. That is my EMF because the switch was still open. This voltage here, that voltage was reading an EMF. Okay, so that means it is my EMF. And then when it is closed at T1, the voltage decreased to 10.5. My voltage was now 10.5. Right? Which means what happened? Some of the voltage was stolen by what? By the internal resistance. So I'm going to say V new, my new voltage is going to be 13 minus 10.5. And what is the answer for this one?
That's 2.5.
2.5 V. So this one is your V internal. That's your V internal. Then it means now okay, the difference here it is 2.5, of which it is your V internal right there. Then your V external, it is going to be what? 10.5. 10.5 is your V external. Right there. The one it decreased to, because the thing has decreased by 2.5. It has decreased by 2.5 by the difference there. Then the questions are saying, I'm skipping this one. That time the value of the EMF. The value of the EMF was 13 V at the beginning. Then when the switch is closed, now they closed the switch, the EMF or the value of the voltage is going to decrease or change. So now they're looking for the current through resistance R. Current through resistance R. So in order to find the current through resistance R, you can just go and use your Ohm's law, which is V is equal to R is equal to V over I. The resistance there is 5.6. Your voltage there, your voltage, you can use the external. You have to use the external, which is 10.5 divided by I. And then you cross multiply there and you have I is equal to 10.5 divided by 5.6. And what answer will you get here?
1,88.
1.888. That's what we have over there. Then the second question says power dissipated by your resistance there, by your resistor. We need the power now. So in order to find the power, I think you can use a lot of formulas, but the simple formula that I'm going with, I'll use I squared multiplied by R. I use that current, which is going to be P is equal to 1.88 squared multiplied by 5.6. Then what is my power?
19,74.
19.774 watts. Don't forget, that's 7 watt. Yes, 19.74 watts. So don't forget that we use watts in these calculations. We use kilowatts in the cost. So now they're looking for the internal resistance. You can just use the EMF is equal to I into R plus small letter r. Your EMF is 13. Don't forget that EMF is a constant value. Although there are changes, EMF will remain as 13 because if you buy a battery and then the battery is labeled 13 volts, your battery, the EMF rated on the battery is 13. Although it will get used up, but the EMF is 13. It does not change. So our EMF is 13. Our current is 1.88. And then our resistance was 5.6. We're looking for small letter r. Then you divide both sides by 13. We'll be left with 5.6 plus r is equal to, what is 13 divided by 1.88? Anyone?
How many decimal places, sir?
Just give me two. When you are not going to round in the exam, but just give
Okay,
me
6,91, sir.
914.
what 6
914.
or 6.914. That one. So you transpose this to the other side and then your R. What is your R?
That's 1,31.
1.31 ohms.
Yes.
That one is fine. Then okay. We'll stop here for today. Some of you have to go and study. But one of my learners texted me saying the formula that I was using, you're not allowed to use it in grade 12. But last year we were using it. So I think she's this one, Chekofats. What has changed?
Oh, the thing is that our script are no longer marked at school. They are marked at center marking. So my teacher told me that they're very strict. So we just have to follow the rules.
Yeah, they're very, very, very strict. But yeah, just do what your teacher is telling you. Yeah, I see a hand. Wokamus, wokamso.
Hi, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm finding you. I
I'm fine.
wanted to ask about the cost.
Yes.
The T is it seconds or hours?
Yeah, the time is always in hours.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So for those who are writing tomorrow, tomorrow I was thinking of doing. No, for those who are writing on this day, I was thinking of doing vertical projectile motion and which topic, which topic should I do? The ones that you struggle the most with.
Electromagnetism.
Okay, that's for grade 11, obviously. Okay, electromagnetism. Then, oh, so I mean for grade 12, for grade 11, we were going to mention our different topics. But for grade 11, the lesson might be a bit early tomorrow because the topics are different then they. So what about the grade 12 ones? Which topics should we do?
Vertical projectile.
Yeah, I know that one is a
Wait,
big problem.
no.
And what?
Like energy and power.
Working agent power. Okay, no problem. That's fine. Then for grade 11, which topics?
Electromagnetism.
You know,
For me, it's electrostatics.
electrostatics. Yeah, you know, electrostatics can humble you way. I forgot about that one. Electrostatics. Hey, I remember I got humbled by electrostatics. I will show you how I got humbled. So we'll also do that one. Yeah. Then working agent power, electrostatics, vertical projectile motion, and also electromagnetism. But the issue with electromagnetism, you guys will force me to open my camera and show you the thumb up, thumb down, those things, and I'm too gorgeous to be seen in public. That's the problem. Okay, but I'll try my best. I'm just joking. So let me show you something. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Okay, yes. Don't worry. You can't see any emojis here or any. No, I don't do that. We don't do that when we are okay. I'm opening the picture here just to motivate you guys. Yeah, as you can see, that one was my name. It was my name. Siphuma Bafana, right? I was never wrong. I'm always right, right? So the thing is, this was a trial question paper, September 2025, physical science. And multiple choice, I got 18. Newton's law, I got 21 out of 21. Question 3, I think it is those things of momentum, 18 out of 18. Question 4, I forgot which one. I think it's work or I forgot, 12 out of 12. Question 5, 10 out of 10. Question 6, 8 out of 8. This is Doppler. Question 7, this one was, I forgot which one. I still got 11 out of 11. Then question 8, I forgot which one was this. Then the last question was electrostatics. No. Oh, no. Question 7, it was electrostatics. It was out of 21, I think. And I got 11 out of 21. Imagine electrostatics, the thing that I did from grade 11. So it is the issue that I got 136 because of. So I lost marks in that question, if you can see it there. So which means never underestimate a topic, regardless of you did the thing last year or this year whatsoever. So see you next time when we meet. Selena, can you text me my numbers? Let me give you my numbers. You'll text me now. We have to do a little talking. 076 248 99998 998.
Okay, I got him.
Yes. You'll text